From Cali to Tally, it's time to wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source, and this is Wake Up War Chant. Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hudjavandi and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What up, everybody? We're back in the Midtown offices. It's been a while. I'm a little bit nervous. We got a special visitor with us.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
What up, Brady? You know, he doesn't have the microphone yet. We'll probably do something. We'll try to incorporate him later on the show. Do something like Brady's World segment or something.
Yeah.
Talk about what's going on in his life.
Yeah, what's interesting him.
Well, we got to get hip, right? We're not cool. I don't like the rap music that upsets people. Maybe
Right.
Brady will infuse some sort of, let me know what the streets are talking about.
Well, he definitely likes the rap music for sure.
All right.
So
Very well. How you been, bud?
good, man. Good to be back out there at football practice. That's as exciting as I remember it being.
Oh, yeah.
I missed it for a few days, but yeah, that was good stuff, man.
You got a story up on warchant.com. Use the promo code WARCHANT30 if you're not a member of the Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. That WARCHANT30 promo code gets you 30 free days of access to the website. Follow us on social media as well. Wake Up WarChant, WarChant. Subscribe to the podcast. Rate it. Review it. 5 stars, though. Dude, we could have had a really good time if we were to record a show the other day because it's been April Fool's. I want to do just a whole show about nothing, just positive about, like, dude, like, you know, this is all going to work out.
Oh, right.
Probably
I could have been the negative guy.
No. But at literally the last thing I was going to say is, by the way, happy April Fool's. Bam, commercial break, done.
Well, yeah, you didn't tell me that.
Just
You didn't,
ruined
I didn't
everybody.
Know. My bad.
Actually,
I'd forgotten about it, honestly, and then until you texted me at whenever that was,
Yeah.
11:30. I'm like, well, nope, not now.
Right. Actually, there were some thoughts I had of the more positive variety. We can get to them probably later on in the show. But you wrote about the defense, huh? The defense is winning, which is that's what happens early in the season, right? Early in camp,
Right.
Defense is usually ahead of the offense. Was there anything that caught your ear, your seasoned, well-tuned ear?
Well, I mean, they do. I don't think they're just blowing smoke up our rear ends. I think they do like the Jaleel McRae kid. He's a true freshman, right? He's an early enrollee that's going through his first spring practice, and Willie estimated that he had 5 interceptions through the spring already, and Dontavius probably wasn't supposed to tell us, but told us that Jaleel McRae had 2 interceptions in the spring game or scrimmage, on Saturday, and ran one of them back for a touchdown. Don't know who threw it. Don't know how long the interception return was or what happened or anything like that because it's college football in 2019. We don't want any specifics out there at all because you don't want to celebrate anyone. But even still, that's a good sign. And then Willie talking about him afterwards, saying, "Look, he's always in the right place at the right time," which is good when a kid's because that makes you think, all right, then he kind of gets it as a football player. He's instinctive. It's not something he's been taught because he hasn't been here long enough to be coached up that well. So that's a positive, I guess. And, you do want the defense ahead of your offense. I mean, you would be really kind of mortified if you heard that through the grapevine, the offense had 600 yards and scored 50 points.
Yeah, but it'd be nice if the offense was a little bit ahead, but I understand. It is a good sign that Jaleel McRae is being singled out. Obviously, true freshman. He does come from IMG, though, so I'm wanting to see.
Football factory.
Well, I mean, you say it in jest, but, I mean,
no,
come on
I'm not.
now.
It wasn't in jest. It is a football factory.
I hope for Willie's sake almost that some of these slept-on guys start emerging. Like to see Keyshawn Helton have a really good year. I think that'll go towards at least – I don't think there's a perception that Willie's not a good talent evaluator, but we don't know how good of a talent evaluator he really is. So I don't know if McCray, I don't think was really like a sleeper guy that he stuck his neck out for. But the fact that they were able to identify him, establish a relationship, bring him in, and he is making an impact, it sounds like, is good. I thought he looked a little too heavy, to be honest with you, when we were out there.
Kid. Yeah, he is a big kid.
Just like, I don't know how he's going to be able to really move much side to side. But, hey, man, if they're throwing in his lane and he's able to pick the ball off, I mean, that's good. We need playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. That's always a good thing.
And they said, kind of positive things about the offensive line. There's something a little kind of look, they said it was getting better. Cam Akers said it's a lot. They made significant strides from this time last year. So that's a positive.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah, make it so, man. Make it so.
By the way, on the Tribal Council, again, use the promo code WARCHANT30 if you're not a member to join the family. There's video posted from Wednesday of practice. Last Wednesday, the practice is open a little bit. Snow Knoll says the offensive linemen are much improved compared to last year. Boom. Take it to the bank.
Oh, there you go. Snow Knoll saw that just from the practice video? I like it.
He knows.
Snow with a W or S-N-O?
Like Jon Snow.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's how you
Or
reference
shall I say
snow?
Aerys Targaryen?
All right, no, let's not get too deep in the weeds with Game of Thrones.
We can't talk. Dude, I'm just so disappointed that I took so long. There were so many.
I'm trying to tell you, man, we're
just,
not all screwing with you guys. The people that are listening to this now that say, oh, I'm so tired of hearing about Game of Thrones. Yeah. Well, there's a reason everybody talks about it. It's awesome.
Right.
It's really good.
It is.
You should go watch it.
Yeah. Saturday will be the spring game, 4 p.m. It will not be televised in the traditional sense. It'll be streaming on ESPN3 or ACC Network Extra, whatever you like to call it today. Which is crazy here. If you guys want to put some of this into your anti-ESPN bias, by the way, we will not have Dallin Cuff on the show any longer because
What about Dallin Cup?
Dallin Cup, perhaps. That's going to be my name now when I check into hotels.
Yeah, well, we should be able to. There's got to be a Dallin Cup out there somewhere that we can reach out to and get them on.
I don't know. Do you know any other Dallins? I've never
There's
even heard
not a lot of
Dallins.
Dallins. No,
Yeah.
that's an odd name.
Well, his father's name was Dennis, and apparently, I think he's got 3 brothers, and it's all D's. It's like Darren.
And
Darren,
they just ran out of
Dallin.
names.
I don't know. I guess
Dallin came out of nowhere.
I like it though.
I do too. It's different.
It is.
But it's a big leap to make.
Yeah. So him and his cronies at ESPN conspiring against Florida State University, trying to bring us down. Clemson's on the Deuce. LSU, I think, is on SEC Network. Ole Miss is on ACC Network, and then at 4 p.m., guess who is on ESPNU?
Florida.
Arkansas.
Okay, well, so that doesn't kind of go with the job. I was like, all right, man, you win 12 games in 2 years. I don't think anybody's like, God, we got to see that spring game. When's that spring game? We got to get that program on.
If I was 22-year-old Aslan, I'd probably be a little peeved.
You're always
or perturbed. Perturbed.
You're always
Apologize. Don't be that, Brady. But I don't know, I guess the only explanation I can think of with Arkansas getting 4 o'clock is the fact that they're an SEC school. No, because Chad Moore's second year.
Yeah.
I think just probably the commitments they've made to the SEC network, and since Ole Miss I think is going at 4, LSU's on 4. Like, all right, well, since we can't put you on our flagship, if you will, we'll go ahead and put you on cable anyhow. We'll put you on this one because the ACC network has not launched yet, so perhaps next year we'll push you on the show. Because
but I feel like that would be a good advertisement for the ACC network is to have Florida State's spring game at 4 o'clock.
And listen, as much as I poke fun at you folks, and some of it's poking fun, some of it just we need to start becoming a little more realistic and not being so sensitive about things. There's I mean, from a dollar and cents aspect, there's no way it makes sense because who's Razorback Nation outside the borders of Arkansas?
Nobody. The Clintons?
Well, that's right, yeah. I guess Harlem stand up.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it, right?
Yeah.
There's no famous Arkansas fan. Nobody cares about them.
Yeah, so
have they ever been good in our lifetimes? Like good, like Arkansas, not good. Like they might make an SEC championship game, but good like they're going to win a championship, like national championship.
Brady says so.
No, they haven't. No, Arkansas has not been.
Well, they had the year with Ryan Mount. They won 12 games.
Sure, but did they come close to winning a national championship?
Brady's just staring down his pops right now. Brady, chill out for a second. Let your dad focus.
Yeah, please.
I'm just kidding.
Grief.
Be who you are, man. Don't let anyone ever put you into a hole. Oh, so yeah, that's Saturday, the spring game. So what are we going to take from it? I think we're going to sit down across from each other around a table or around a round table, and we're going to talk about this. Like how much...
Before the game or after the game?
Before the game.
Okay.
Let people know what we've expected. Actually, yeah, I think Ira said he wants to have a DEFCON 3 meeting around the round table.
Okay.
But, like, how much – because I feel like last year was so much of a festival, catharsis. Like, it was everything but an actual football game in terms of – because there was things that didn't look good, but I was like, who cares, man? It's Willie, bro.
But you also had the LeBourne run.
Yeah.
You had Terry doing what he did. Terry racing everybody past everybody on that run. And I've already got my column written, essentially, is like, remember how excited everybody was at last year's spring game. Willie doing the lap around the stadium. There was it was what Jimbo had always wanted. Huge crowd. They were into it the whole time. They were really excited about the team. They showed up for the program. And then the season happened. It meant nothing. Zero. Zilch. Oh. So let's fast forward a year when there's going to be 11 or 15 or 22,000 people there, whatever it's going to be. Who knows how many are there for Hammer or Color Me Bad, whoever they want to go see. And all right, hey, Brady's in here. By the way, you're not going to be able to watch that show, Brady. That concert, that part of the concert. But so, and it's not going to be nearly the same atmosphere at all. It's going to be kind of a dud. There's not going to be people really fired up about it. Same thing. It
I
doesn't.
know. I think people will be a little bit fired up. It's Kendall Briles, Randy Clemens.
No, man, it's a prove it to me in Jacksonville in September fan base, 100%. But my point is, it doesn't matter. The spring games mean zilch. Zilch. For Jameis Winston, it meant something.
Oh yeah,
that's it. Everything else, it means almost. And this isn't me telling you not to come. Come hang out with your brethren. Cheer on the team. That's fine. By the way, are we having a meet and greet thing like we did last year?
Let me text the boss man.
That was fun. But as I finish my point, so people are going to write about, what a disappointing crowd, and there wasn't any life or energy into this thing. I see that coming because nobody's really excited about this spring game. But it is a spring game, and it does not. As we saw firsthand last year, it does not carry over. It does not transfer to September, so it's impossible to make any judgments about how important it will be. You know what I mean? Like the tenor of the fan base. I just don't think it matters. Now, it matters if they go on and have a bad season again. Then you've really you're starting to circle around the drain a little bit, it feels like. But last year was as exciting and as energetic a spring game as there's even more so than the Jameis game. Just complete. It was over the top. And we all got caught up in it. We were all awash in it. And then it mattered not at all 5 months later. So the same thing you'll be able to say this time around.
Well, I don't know that you
can glean much.
Yeah, I don't know if it's indicative. Like if James Blackman goes out there and is 21 of 30 and throws for 5 touchdowns, that mean he's going to have some sort of
It just means the defense is terrible. That's how you look at it.
You remember how the whole season I said I wasn't judging this team by a week-to-week sort of thing. I just wanted to see bits and pieces and see if that would come together in some sort of nice big picture overall. I think you want to see some things, though. Definitely, I think it's important for big runs consistently to happen. I almost don't know if they're going to make the defense play vanilla or even more so than they did last time around because most defenses don't come out and start rushing off the edge and doing zone blitzes and all sorts of crazy things. But I definitely think James needs to make some authoritative throws, be accurate, be on time. Running game needs to look well. I think one of the questions that Ira wants to talk about is just what do you want to see? I want to see Mike Arnold pull. I want to see him pull and coming around the right end and knock somebody down, man, and spring a run. There's certain things that I definitely think are more important. I think the fact that it's not going to be so much about the atmosphere, the feeling, the Willie love. It's going to be more about, I think, the game, actually watching and seeing what these players are about. That I think it's important that they put some good stuff out there on tape and in front of these fans because this is the last bit of PR momentum they're going to have built until, I don't know, I guess IMG will reignite it when they go out there in July again or whatever. So
they're doing that again, huh? I feel like, the biggest thing, we know this, and I don't know how much you can glean again from a spring game, is if the offensive line is better. Because it's not like the starting unit's going to be on one team.
True.
And the other team is going to, the second string is going to be on another. They could do that, but they're not. Brady, if you point to the TV again.
It's the bottom of the second of a scoreless game.
What are you pointing at?
What's so enticing?
It's the pitcher's thingy. Look what he does.
But you hear that we're talking on a podcast in the middle of it. We're like in a radio. We're doing something. We're working, right? So quit.
It's Mike Clevenger
for the Indians.
For the Indians. Just waves his arm he's got to keep it loose. It's kind of it's
what
part of
Kimbrel
his
does.
Yeah.
But is that worth getting our attention? So we're in the middle of something.
Maybe Drew Parrish should do that, and then things will start.
Maybe or any of them.
This guy does
Okay, all right. You're gonna have to go outside if you do anything else around here. I'm gonna make you sit in the car.
I love this.
I'm gonna make you sit in the car.
He doesn't mean that, but chill out for a second.
No, I do mean that. You're gonna go
absorb
sit in the car.
Absorb the game.
But don't point at anything else.
No,
okay?
you can do it. I'm just kidding. How was that granola bar, by the way? Was it delicious? All right, good, man. Glad. All right, but so the spring game is Saturday, 4 p.m. That's what I want to see. I think it's important.
Yeah, I like individual offensive linemen. Sure, Dante Lucas. Let's see what he looks like.
I think you had 2 good centers.
Yeah,
I think
you have bodies that you don't normally have for a spring game. They're not a ton of guys sitting out, so you should be able to have a competent looking offensive line. So you will be able to gauge a little bit about how much better they are, or maybe not about how average the Florida State defensive rush-ins are. We got to see that too. That's something you want to see. But again, the goofiness of the spring game is it always comes at the expense of something else that's important. Great, you got a great rush in. Okay, well your tackle can't block them. That's not great. So that's the difficulty in really judging a spring game or getting too excited about it. But yeah, there's certain individual players, and maybe if Blackman does go 23 or 27 and looks incredible, people get really fired up about it, and that would get something to carry over. But I really just don't think it'll matter until September.
I think we're much more likely to have that faction of fans that whenever some under-the-radar player just, like Willie or Jimbo will just name off 5 guys, and some of those cling on to that one random name, and you're like, why does that stand out in your mind? I really think if, Blackman throws, say, 2 picks and Jordan Travis only throws 1 or McDonald doesn't throw any, I think there will be like genuine, are we sure we're making the right decision here? I really think people are going. That's what I cringe about thinking about the spring game. It's like Blackman goes and throws 2 picks, Jordan Travis doesn't, and then people are like, well, we got a bona fide quarterback battle brewing, and I'm like, and
they're not even, and then the other guy's not even here yet.
Yeah, Alex Hornibrook.
So yeah, man, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, you hope Blackman looks good. But again, are you going to put more stock into what happened Saturday or what happened in Raleigh? Right. Or what happened in Gainesville at the end of the 17 season?
What happened in the Shreve?
I mean, he dominated the Shreve. The Shreve hadn't seen anything like that since
Billy
or
Joe
before our since, man. That kid was on fire in that game.
He really
They're still
was,
talking
though,
about him in the Shreve. Yeah, Southern Miss remembers him. I guarantee you that. They're like, they're starting who? That's what Southern Miss fans were like. Why aren't they starting that number? That number 1, he was great. So yeah, we'll see. When you cover a lot of these, you kind of get, as you can tell, get a little cynical about them. Right. I am excited about college football starting. I'm always excited about that. Spring games are just a difficult thing to cover. And again, I don't know what can get people excited heading into next season. I don't know that there's anything they can see. I don't know specifically there's anything they can see other than, like I said, Blackman looking like a Heisman candidate that will get them really excited because it's going to be prove it to us.
I think Cam runs well because he's forgotten.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If he looks like the old Cam, I wouldn't give him a ton of carries because what's the point?
Right.
But if he has 8 for 70, it doesn't even really matter what the numbers are. If he just looks like the old Cam and has that explosion and that shiftiness and the power, the combination that I've always said is what I look for in running backs. Right. It's those 3 things. I've been saying it since you've known me, right?
Exactly.
If he displays that again, like we saw glimpses of last year, but mainly as a freshman, that would be a good sign too. But again, as you pointed out repeatedly, and it's the truth, man, this defense needs to get a whole lot better too. A whole lot better. So are they going to be out there making plays? It's not necessarily a bad thing if you see Levante Taylor jump a pass and pick it off. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting because I think the back end's the strength of that defense. So maybe Kendall will tap into his dad's old Stephenville High School 91 playbook and just pound it, brother. Because I want to ask you this, talking about things to watch and keep an eye on. Willie has made several mentions about tempo. I mean, it's what he's always wanted to do. He wanted to do it last year and just never was able to take off for whatever reason. They went pretty fast in the spring game, though, I feel like last year. Because I remember you made a couple comments. You're like, hey, everyone needs to get used to this. No more,
you're
looking at your
down
phone.
To tweet, and you look up and another play's already been run.
Yeah, so they did do that in 18. I wonder if obviously, I think a lot of folks expected that to be the norm when the season rolled around, and it didn't happen. So that's one of your examples of things not to glean from the spring game. But
we know that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
Last year, for a variety of reasons, they couldn't. Mainly because they could never get positive yardage on first down ever.
Got to win first down.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you won all the downs. Then you'd have a really good football team. But that was another thing that I think was kind of positive that Willie was talking about when it came to the defense. He said, look, when they give up a big play in practice, a lot of times it's because they haven't been lined up correctly because we go so fast, which is good on 2 different levels. Number one, it's good that the offense is going that fast. Even a defense that goes against it every day has a hard time keeping up with it sometimes. But then also he said in Saturday's scrimmage it got a lot better. The defense, he was really encouraged about how quickly they got lined up because this isn't going away. It's not like this is a fad where people are going to go back to milking 36 seconds before they call a play. This is what you have to do from here on out against almost every opponent you face. So you can't be looking to the sidelines all the time when a ball's being snapped.
Remember the Clemson game?
Yeah, the one that we just watched.
The first drive. Was it the first drive? Or was it the entire first quarter?
What?
Well, I mean, I think he yelled at almost Harlan. Like he was like, "What are you doing?" Because we kept trying to sub people in the middle of Clemson's first drive. Like Clemson's 7 yards. Like, oh, sub package. Like, what are you doing?
They're just snapping it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a little upset about that.
I remember the Clemson game.
Hopefully they'll figure that stuff out. All right, that's what's going on with the spring game. Man, again, folks, join warchant.com. Use promo code warchant30. There's some great threads to jump into. I'm not going to talk about them too much. Check out the thread that is titled Dugan's Tweet from Poppy Coppinger's son, which is code for Osceola. Apparently Osceola's mother, her name is, I didn't know that. You probably did, obviously.
Oh, well, yeah, and his dad was a British soldier.
Yeah.
Osceola's dad was a British soldier.
Check out the Dugan's Tweet thread. Hilarious. Almost accomplishes entire war chant bingo, but not quite. And there's another one that I really liked a lot. Yeah, that's not for yet. For now, rather. I wish we would have got Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Just to have witnessed the anxiety and the waiting of the waiver. Because Jordan Travis, which I don't really know how much he'll factor into long term, I'm sure. Short term, I don't know how much, but there's palpable anxiety on the boards.
About Jordan Travis?
Yeah. Like, is he going to get it? Has he got it? What's the deal? Why we haven't heard anything?
Oh, well, it's good that they're interested. I think Jordan probably feels flattered by that, but we're probably thinking he's third string quarterback, right?
Somebody said the thread is NCAA John Travis. Get his name right.
Oh,
John Travis.
All right.
Third, but what do you think? You think Nolan's in front of him?
No, I think Hornibrook's going to be in front of him when he gets here. So, yeah, and maybe he plays baseball. His brother was a great baseball player.
Yeah.
It's a shame with Devin. Talking about the whole thing with the basketball team, and Devin, I've said it a lot, but he's one of the favorite guys I've ever covered here. That kid just cannot get healthy at the MLB level. He has always got something with his knee going on, and he's just never been able to be 100% more than like a month or a month and a half. He's proven he can be a viable, very good Major League Baseball hitter. Yeah. But my man just can't get healthy, and he's on the IR right now. He's on the disabled list. So, thoughts to Devin. I know you listen to this, buddy.
Yeah.
Hope you're getting ready and going to be able to play at some point this season.
I wish they had the roster out for the Garden and Gold game. They could really start breaking things down, Corrigan. Really.
I mean, why would they want people to care about this thing? You know what I mean? Why would they want to generate any buzz or excitement at all when you got everything working in this program already? Why would you want to try to get some exposure for your football team?
Yeah. Well, they did release 2 videos with the team captains.
The state-run media. Yeah.
The Pravda or whatever that's what they call it in Moscow.
Yeah. So in watching the basketball games yesterday, man, it was just, again, it reminded me how much of a bummer it was that Florida State could have. I don't know if they had anything for that Texas Tech team. That team's legit.
Dang, yeah.
They're really good defensively.
Imagine if you're UNLV.
But I just
hired him. They hired Chris Beard.
Dude, that guy can write he could write a blank check where he wants to go. He can go anywhere. He's really good. But a healthy Florida State is certainly as good as anybody that's left in the tournament. I mean, they beat one of them. Yeah. I don't think they'd be scared of Auburn or Michigan or any of them.
No.
So it's just such a the Virginia Purdue game was incredible. I can't believe the kid. Number one. So did you watch the highlight?
I watched the last 8 minutes of that game.
So the missed free throw. I didn't know this, but I guess you're allowed to back tap it backcourt yourself.
It's considered a loose ball.
So that's not
point.
Backcourt, even though you tapped it backcourt. But the kid making that pass.
It was amazing.
It's incredible. There's nobody. I think 99% of college basketball players chuck it up from half court right there.
Oh yeah.
That dude he's kind of open. Let me throw it to him real quick. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that is, how many times do you think they practice that? Set the over/under at half.
I would say 5 times in the last 7 months.
I mean, I don't know what's more impressive, because I don't know why more teams don't try to miss the free throw on those instead of in vain making
make the free throw and then foul, and then if the other team's in the 1-and-1 maybe, then you still got I got you.
But that's
timeouts play a factor into it too.
Well, somebody posted a thread on War Chant. I didn't read it because I didn't want to get too involved in it, about fire Roy Williams, because it was a tongue-in-cheek, Brady. He wasn't being serious. It was making fun of the Florida State fans that aren't happy that they lost and think that Leonard Hamilton's part of the problem. Like, well, if you think Leonard Hamilton's part of the problem, then why doesn't Roy Williams get fired? He's got more talent and lost to an Auburn team that was, undermanned. Like, how much – like, you don't want to take it away from a guy like Tony Bennett, but, like, how much of that is really you coaching?
Oh, yeah.
Like, Mike Krzyzewski, how do you do that? Like, I don't know. Of all the teams he's had that haven't won national titles, like him and John Calipari need to sit down and talk about the team, like the best teams they've had that didn't win a national title. This is going to be ridiculous. How do you not win a national title when you've got 5 guys that are going to go in the top 10 of the NBA draft probably?
Well,
how
not 5. They
3 guys that are going to
three
guys,
top 10 and probably 4 first-round picks. It's hard to win, and it's really and Leonard's not blowing smoke up our butts either when he talks about freshmen. Like it's incredible. There's a gap between like a Cam Reddish and a Terrence Mann, NBA potential wise, but you can't tell me Cam Reddish is a better college player than Terrence Mann.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's now R.J. Barrett and Zion are different, obviously, but it was kind of a weird team because they didn't have anybody that could shoot, so they couldn't spread you out. So Zion and R.J. were having to score in front of around 40 people in the paint. But Ira texted me this. Duke's been to 2 Final Fours in the last 15 years.
Really?
2. Now, they won them both.
Yeah.
But 2 in 15 years. That's 2 more than Florida State. That's only 2 more than Florida State, folks.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was me, not Brady this time.
You're fine.
But that just shows me, man, is like how hard it is to win. Once you get past the first weekend, it's all up for grabs. It's you think about those games we saw this weekend, like how close they were. Auburn could have lost. Obviously, it went to overtime. Yeah. Kentucky could be in the Final Four. Duke lost by what, a point? By a missed free throw, essentially? But also won their previous 2 games on essentially missed tip ins. So it's just it's incredible how there
Purdue
really
could have
is.
beat Virginia.
Yeah. And Virginia was down whatever. They were down 15 in the first half and another 116 game. Yeah. And North Carolina, North Carolina I thought was probably the most impressive team I saw this year in the regular season. They went up against a team that hit 18 threes. What are you going to do? I mean, that's just bad luck. I think if North Carolina played Auburn in a best-of-7 series, they'd win 4-2 probably. But in the NCAA tournament, the beauty of it, like we say, it's a one and done. And Auburn could not miss, and that game was a wrap. And North Carolina started panicking because their season's on the line. It's not like the Warriors would panic in Game 1 against the Clippers. Yeah. Like, oh, God, our season's about to be over. Yeah. No, they don't do that because they know they're going to win at least 4 of the next 5. So I just think that what that shows you, especially that Duke one, is how crazy. I mean, who's a better coach than Mike Krzyzewski? Who gets better players than Mike Krzyzewski these days? And yet they've only been to the Final Four twice in 15 years. So we got to just a little bit. I get it. It's the nature of the sport. Stop judging seasons on what happens in the NCAA tournament because it is a completely random.
But how can you be upset? Like I just don't understand how you can be a Florida State fan. How can you be upset?
I would think that's 1%, maybe even 1% of the 1% are upset about how the season ended because you could have been upset if they lost to Vermont.
Yes. Sure.
And if Murray State won and Ja Morant had 55 because you just weren't guarding them, right. I could understand that. But after you, especially if you're a top 4 seed and you get past the first weekend, they lost to a really good team. Yeah. Now, are Gonzaga fans upset? That's 2 years in a row they haven't been to the Final Four.
Do you know that literally his first year at Gonzaga, they made it to the Sweet 16?
Yeah, is that when they beat Florida? They upset Florida?
I think so, 99, 2000.
Yeah.
His first year there, Sweet 16, puts them totally on the map, and he's never won a national title. Like, I wonder how much about it
But he is an awesome coach.
And he's built it, though. He built that.
But nobody even knew what Gonzaga was. I think Jimmy Kimmel even does a bit about it's not a real school. It doesn't really exist. Yeah. I'd only heard of it because of John Stockton. Yeah. So he's an awesome coach. But some of his teams have flamed out earlier than they should have in the postseason, but that just happens. I think most Gonzaga fans were certainly more upset the way their season ended, the way the Florida State's fans should have been about that. I just think that was a team that didn't have all its parts. And if it had all its parts, I don't think Gonzaga would have been playing on Saturday. I think Florida State would have been playing Texas Tech.
I agree.
Which is it's a bummer, but maybe they'll get back there next year. That's what I was telling young Brady in the car after spring practice was you just got to the key is to just give yourself chances. Just keep getting there. Eventually
like
you'll
Florida
catch
State
fire.
In Omaha, right? Just keep
sure.
going Omaha.
I mean,
you're win it.
if you get there 20 times, you're bound to win a couple, right? I mean, that's kind of just the law of averages. But yeah, if you just keep getting in the tournament, like Virginia, I mean, as bitter as last year was, and as much as we made fun of how they lost in the tournament, man, same guys came right back. Number one seed again. And then look, they gave themselves another chance, and now they're in the Final Four, and they're probably the favorite, I would think, of those 4 teams to win the national championship. Michigan State a couple years ago lost to who, Brady? Who'd you say? Middle Tennessee State?
Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah,
Kermit Davis.
as a 2-15, right?
Yep.
And
Sunk my battleship.
Some of those guys that were on that team are on this team.
Yep.
I mean, that just, sometimes you get hot, sometimes you get lucky, and you just got to keep getting there. You just got to keep getting there, and that's what that's what Leonard Hamilton's, to me, that's what the job is from here on out until he retires. You don't have another lull like we had in the mid part of this decade. Brady, we're talking, buddy. You don't even have a mic. We're talking.
Brady's World segment coming up, folks. Stay tuned.
Good grief. But the middle part of this decade, you can't have another run like that. There's no excuse for that again. Now that you've raised the bottom of this, the basement.
The bar.
The bar has been raised.
The ceiling or the roof is the ceiling?
I don't know what you're raising exactly. You've raised the bar.
Floor. You've raised the floor.
You've raised the floor. You've raised the bar. And if you win a few more games in March, you're going to raise the roof. You're going to blow the roof off the place.
There we go.
If you win 4 in the tournament next year. But yeah, so that's where that program is now. I did look it up, by the way. I think something's interesting. Florida State is 4th in the last 10 years. Florida State has the 4th most ACC wins.
Okay.
And the 4th most overall wins of anybody in the conference. They have, it's impossible how bad Wake Forest has been, and Boston College. Florida State has twice as many ACC wins in the last 10 years. I think Florida State has 100. So they average 10 ACC wins a year, which is good.
Skip Prosser had that thing chugging along.
Man, it is crazy. He was getting Chris Pauls and people like that. And now Wake Forest and Boston College both have, I think Boston College has like 48 wins in the last 10 years in the ACC.
Jeez.
They're averaging less than 5 ACC wins a year. Georgia Tech is a disaster. Wake Forest is a disaster. Old Dallin's right about that. The Pitt's been a disaster for the last half decade. Those 4 teams specifically,
the bottom of the East,
they've got to figure. Like Miami and Florida State they're right there. Miami has 90 wins in the last 10 years. Clemson's got like 84. So those 3, Virginia Tech's a little lower than that. They're trying. They're doing some things, but Pitt, Wake Forest, and Georgia Tech specifically, you're basketball schools. Figure it out.
Yeah.
There's no reason that Florida State should be winning twice as many ACC games over a 10-year span as you are. But that shows you what Leonard's built. And so, again, I'll put a fine-tooth comb on it. That's no way that's accurate. That's what I was supposed to say.
Put a bow on it.
But I'll put a bow on it. Now the job is, you've had this 3-year run. Let's just keep it plateaued or keep going higher. No more dips. No more dips. You've got this thing laid. You've got the foundation laid. You can't have misses like you did the last time you had this kind of run. And
it's hard to make the tournament, though, man. Like if he doesn't make the tournament,
no, I don't think that you can't hit a stretch where a whole senior class comes and goes without making the tournament.
Okay, correct.
And I'm not saying he can as in he should be fired.
Right.
Leonard Hamilton, folks, I know there's some of you that are probably anti-Leonard people still. I know you exist. He's not getting fired.
Yeah.
Unless he went 0-30 2 years in a row, that's not happening. So for him to go out on a high note on his own terms, you don't want it. You want the Florida State program to be in a point wherever he steps down, somebody's not taking over for Steve Robinson. Obviously, they're taking over for Leonard Hamilton, and they're a top 20 program and a top 5 ACC type program, which is what it is right now.
It's wild to think about.
It's wild that in NC State, last 10 years, Florida State has like 23 more ACC wins than NC State. It's like, and those people really care about basketball.
The Wolf Pack. See, the reason I brought that up, basketball, first off, 15-second answer, was this edition of Florida State basketball, was this Florida State football 2012, where it's like, man, this is kind of enjoy it, nice return to national prominence,
Right. Enjoy being ranked number 5, or number 3, even though it's awful. It stings to get upset. At least you're back in the conversation again. But are you saying in terms of like the because I don't think many fans thought that 13 was going to be better than 12.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you're thinking that maybe next year will even be the big leap.
Yes.
Even though most people think this is the ceiling almost. Yeah, it could be. Obviously, it depends on what one player in particular decides to do about his future.
He's come back. He ain't leaving.
But if he comes back, then yeah, man, because I think a guy like Vassell could be the second leading scorer on the team next year. I mean, you're talking about from like 3 points a game to 13 points a game or 4. I mean, I think he's going to be a huge piece. And then maybe MJ Walker makes a nice turnaround and has a big leap.
Is Malik Osborne is he like a Phil Kofer-ish? Is that what he's going to bring to the game table or something?
This isn't a negative about Phil Kofer, but Phil Kofer was not. He came in with the reputation of being like a fierce rebounder, like a guy that mixes it up down low and gets you those tough rebounds. By the end of his career, he was basically a spot-up shooter. He was good defensively down low, but he was not a guy that was going to get you a lot of tough rebounds. Yeah. This guy is that. Okay. I think he can shoot. I don't expect him to be Kofer from beyond 3-point range, but I think he's much better rebounding the basketball as a offensive and defensive. I think Vassell might have had, or Raekwon Gray had as many offensive rebounds as Phil Kofer did this year. That just wasn't part of his game.
And then, golly, hopefully,
but he changed his body. Yeah, he's having surgery, right? So again, you think about what Forrest did in that game against Gonzaga, and then
he was at what? Maybe 50%?
Maybe 70. I don't know. But 100% Trent Forrest is a guy. Again, he's a guy. He will be one of the best players in the conference. He's not going to be voted any All ACC teams because he's going to average like 10, 6, and 4. But he can dominate games on both ends, and he takes over when it matters. He'll go score when it matters.
Like he did against Gonzaga.
And like he did even at various points this season. LSU, he hit the game-tying bucket. Purdue, Louisville, he hit when they need a bucket. That's the guy they usually go to, and that still will be the case. So again, I think you're right. I think people will be like, "Oh man, that's a bummer because this was our best shot."
Yeah.
But next year's team, you're right. If 25 comes back, I think that might be you might again get there, be a pretty high seed. Maybe they won't ship you to Mars. I could promise you, if there is a regional in Mars, that's where Florida State's going, probably to play against a local team.
Would that be ESPN trying to bring us down, or would that be kind of like a nice honor to be the first team
to go to Mars? Yeah, to play Martians, to play these aliens, this alien life form. Good grief, Aslan.
Sorry,
that's my fault again. I can't kick my legs up around here. So anyway, I think next year's team has a chance to really surprise. Not maybe us because we think they're going to be good, but the rest of the country might be really surprised.
All right, let's talk about baseball real quick.
Okay.
18-9, I want to say right now, with 27 games left. There is somebody said this is not a pattern, but I kind of feel like it is a pattern. So Jim Morris, and longtime Miami coach, former Florida State assistant.
Yeah, on Mike Martin's first team.
Augie Garrido, the guy that Mike Martin's records he's been smashing here. In their last seasons, they didn't even make the tournament.
Right.
I'm not panicking at that point yet. Right now, I don't think this team is going to. I think hosting a regional is hanging in the balance. I don't know if this team is going to.
I know we'll sit here and we always say it, and it's true.
But they're 18-9 with, I think, 27 games left, and they got to get to 40.
That's a bad series loss. That's a bad. You can't, and you get shut out on Sunday by Boston College, who doesn't beat anyone.
And their starter went 8 innings or 7 innings. It was all one guy just shut him down.
Drew Parrish couldn't get out of the second. See, I think this has happened first. This has happened before, where Florida State's had slow starts or looked bad in the middle of the season. But you've been able to look at some things. Okay, well, if they get healthy, right. Jackson Luke was out forever one of those seasons, and some other guys were banged up or pitchers were having on the mend. But you also knew there was the potential there. There's guys that had done it before that were kind of struggling that you thought, okay,
Busby, Walls against 17.
So the Busby Walls team specifically, those were really good players that just weren't playing well for a good portion of that season. And they clicked. If they found it and they clicked. Man, I don't know with this team. There's not a lot of proven commodities. I mean, Mendoza's proven.
And that's rough. I mean, he's supposed to be the catalyst. He's supposed to be the wick, and he's not having a good season. I mean, I don't know how his batting average is right, but he's striking out in a lot of big spots.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of opportunities to swing momentum in games and has not delivered.
Right, and but it's in him. He can do it.
Yes.
Cabell is going to be a good player, but he's not there yet.
Reese Albert's hurt. He's
trying to gut it out. But so there's nothing you really look at this team and go, oh man, if this starts clicking, watch out. Because I don't know what's going on with Parrish.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him. It doesn't make any sense for him to be this bad after being so good last year. It just doesn't.
The last 2 years.
Yeah, no, he's been a very good college pitcher. He was a preseason All-American with good reason, and then this year he's just been not good. That's the only way to describe it. He's been not good at all.
He had a good start against Notre Dame last week. That was that was what was disappointing. Is that last week against Notre Dame he came out. I think he threw 6 innings and was it might have been shutout.
Yeah, I think he gave up 1 hit maybe.
He did really well, and whatever. It's Notre Dame, but it's Boston College too, and you're at home, and then for it to come apart like that, where you don't even make it 1 2/3.
So I mean, I think there's always a portion of my brain. It's the smart one that says, look, they always figure it out. It's Florida State. They always figure it out. This season I could see, because it's such a young team, and there's nothing to really hang your hat on and say, well, they're a very good offense, so they'll just have to outscore people. Or their pitching is dominant. They're getting a little unlucky right now, but it'll work out. I mean, there's nothing right now that you say that's a good – much like the football team last year. There's nothing that you say that's the reason they're going to turn it around. Doesn't mean they can't, but guys have to start playing a lot better. And it's in there. Sure, they're at Florida State. They're a good baseball team, but confidence is a big deal. And right now, who on that team has a ton of confidence? And now they're going to start J.C. Flowers. They're trying anything.
He's starting tomorrow?
He's starting tonight.
Today?
He's starting tonight against Jacksonville. So I guess like as an opener, like the Rays do. And
that's what Brady Clark was saying to do at practice on Tuesday morning.
It's working out. So
look at this kid.
They're going to start J.C. Flowers, so we'll see how that goes. But they're just looking. They're searching for any answers right now because that's a really bad stretch. It's in there. They beat NC State, who's really good, and they really should have taken 2 out of 3. They blew that series. But then you think about this, whatever this stretch has been, where they gave up 15 unanswered runs to Florida, 20 out of 21. They got outscored 20-1 the last 4 innings. And then the NC State game happened. Then losing at home 2 out of 3 to Boston College, who I think lost to like Jackson State 2 out of 3 earlier this year. Just Boston College is – you can't be losing those games. So they got to find it. Got to figure out a way and find it.
Let's hope they do. Let's step aside. We're going to do Brady's World right after this.
Great.
Wake Up War Chant.
You're listening to Wake Up War Chant, low-carb beer for the Seminole soul. Back to Aslan and Corey.
Welcome back to the first ever, hopefully not the last ever segment, 2 Clarks and a Hudge of Andy.
Right, sure.
Coming to you from the Midtown offices. Corey's here, the apple of his eye. Brady Clark also joining us. Brady, what's up, man?
What's up?
How's spring break going?
Good. I'm liking it more than last year because last year it was later, so I didn't get to watch all the tournament games.
Good.
I think I only got to watch the last, the very.
Brady, nobody cares. Let me ask you
Did you sneak over to the stadium? Did you go over to Hauser and talk to Mike Martin when your father and I were covering football and tell him, hey, man, what about maybe starting J.C. Flowers on Tuesday night?
You should have, because he was right. He was right there. He was 30 feet from you when we were there. I was going to ask you real quick, Brady. Remember, right, talking to the mic. If you had to get, you have to answer it. Okay. You have to. You can't say I don't want to answer it. Who's your favorite parent? So okay, so you have to.
No, I don't. That's not. No.
Okay, fine. Aslan, you asked him a question. That's the only one I
give a shout out to your mom real quick.
Hi, Mama.
Hey, man, don't start talking like a 4-year-old. You're a 10-year-old. Let's talk like a 10-year-old.
I'm an 11-year-old.
All right, man.
Be 11.
What's your favorite Florida State memory that involves Florida State sports?
My favorite Florida State memory is probably the Tamori and Terry catch against Boston College.
Okay.
Because that's really the only really close game I've ever been to. I've never been to, because I go to one every year. The last couple of years have been.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. So his mom will bring him to a game every year and sit with him in the stands, but we don't want to take him to a Florida game because it can get nasty and gross, or a Miami game. So usually we bring him to. I guess it's usually been the Boston College.
It's always the Boston College game. Anybody but Boston College.
Yeah. So, but that was actually a real game. In the last 2 minutes, right? That play happened. So that was. He doesn't get to see a lot of drama.
Let me ask you this. So my friends who played baseball, they would nag about Mike Martin, about 11, always constantly changing the lineup. You being a baseball guy, do you get uncomfortable when you're not in the same spot game to game? Like if you're batting 6th, but the next game you're batting 2nd, how does that affect you?
Well, it's more of how I want. Like I try to hit depending on who's on base. Like, do I want if EJ, who's our fastest kid, is on second? Do I want to try to hit do a crazy
Move him over. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
do
got
I
you.
want to just do a contact swing or a super powerful swing, try to advance them?
How's your slugging percentage?
It's pretty good, man. He probably leads the team in not hitting, but he had two triples in one inning.
All right.
The other team, I feel like, had run out of pitching a little bit. If my man's batting twice in the same inning and tripling both times, but yeah, he had a good game that game for
Got
sure.
some wheels, man. You gotta have some speed or
That
strength
was
to go triple.
that was about 24 hours before they blew the 12-1 lead.
Man, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, well, you were on the mound
Only
for
part
some of
the
it.
team. You're part of the team.
Yeah, it's not. It's all y'all's fault.
Win together,
y'all.
we lose together. That's how we roll around here.
That's true.
What's your favorite, Brady? We'll end with this. This has been a stunning segment.
It's already over.
Yeah, I think so.
Brady's world, man. This
Brady,
we go
you got to bring the juice. You're not bringing the juice.
Okay,
I can't have.
I will.
Okay, I can't have you out here boring people to death. They're trying to get their day started. They're trying to be.
Wake
this
up!
is supposed to be. Yeah, they're active. It's like your coffee. What is your all-time favorite sports memory?
Well, my all-time favorite sports memory could be a day ago when Trae Young hit the
Oh yeah, we were there
crazy
for the Hawks
one,
game.
buzzer beater.
We were at that
All
game
right.
where he hit the buzzer beater against the Bucks G League team. None of the good players played, but
Well,
that was fun. But
one-
just watch it. It doesn't even have to be something you were at.
Something just watching.
Yeah.
Maybe it was me watching the.
Hold the microphone closer to you, bud. Don't be scared of it. There you go.
It was maybe when I watched the Kobe played the Hawks for his that was fun because I got to watch Kobe.
Again, okay. So I'll give the story on this. This is before he
Has
became.
Cameron ever had his kids on the show?
Probably not. I can't imagine why.
There you go. See, this dad of yours is
the
cool.
way this is going.
Like, do you realize your dad is
It's about to get better, folks.
Like, do you realize
Don't
your dad's
worry.
pretty unique?
He is unique.
Like, in a good way, though.
In
I
a
mean,
good way, in a very good way.
Why?
Just know
What makes
that.
me unique, Brady?
You're funny. You're very funny.
Right.
You have a very healthy head of hair. You
I mean,
have,
we're not taking shots, man.
No, you have good personality.
Sure.
You're a good parent. Like, you don't let me do whatever, but you're not always super uptight.
See, exactly,
Make me-
man. He
Sure.
all right. Don't talk him up too much.
Yeah, we don't need
Does
that.
your mom's dad have a good head of hair?
My mom's
Grandpa, yeah.
Yeah. So, Papa.
he's got some.
He's
gray
got some
hair.
left.
He's got some left.
All right, that's how you're gonna
That's what you're hoping because
See, people say that's what it turns out, but my grandfather on my mom's side, God rest his soul, had a great, fantastic head of hair all the way into his 90s until he passed away. And
I definitely
didn't
think
get
he's
it.
got his mom's side of the hair, Gene.
I do.
think. So
Okay.
you got to hope that you'll have it a little more. My dad lost his when he was 19. Mine was probably done when I was 31.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can pull off the bald head, man. I've really been looking at myself in the mirror. People taking shots at me on Twitter machine.
Yeah, I don't know that you could do it though.
I
think
can't.
you might be able to do it.
No,
I mean,
it's not good by
Right.
any stretch. What's going on top of my head right now? But it's not terrible. It's not embarrassingly bad. I don't think.
Sure.
And when it's embarrassingly bad, like you let me know, Brady. You let me know. But hey, Aslan, come on, man,
time to
come home.
clean
You
that
have
up.
good
Come
hair.
on. No, I don't.
I've
But
always
you're a
wanted
good
to
liar.
have
It's
black
okay.
hair.
No, you don't.
My-
Chicks like the blonde hair, brother. Anyhow, what do you got? What do you got left for Brady, Corey?
So just to go back to the Arkansas subjects and how
Oh,
they're
yeah.
never going to be good for the rest of eternity.
Don't talk about you're talking about an SEC team on a Florida State podcast.
Yeah,
People will
remember
come
that.
at
We
you.
don't want to hear
Because
great things
no,
about
but
Arkansas.
This is a horrible thing. Last year, I had to this was the greatest thing ever. Arkansas kicked it off to North Texas, and he just caught it and then started slowing down just because he just thought he needed it, and then he ran it back for a touchdown because everybody was walking back.
Was that a punt or a
Was that-
kickoff?
I think
That
that
was
was
a
the
kickoff.
punt. No, he did the
Fake fair catch.
he
sort
did the
of thing?
fake fair catch
Yeah,
that Buckley did.
He just caught it.
He caught it and stood there, and
And
they all thought,
trotted
he
away.
must have caught a fair catch, and then he
just-
took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brady,
They
you don't
lost
know
that
this.
game. They lost that game.
You don't know this, but
They lost by 30.
a friend of the show, Terrell Buckley, who was
Yes.
an all-time Florida State great, a legend, he did that in 1989, 30 years ago, coming up against Syracuse.
My goodness.
So he kind of invented it. He did it in the Carrier Dome against Syracuse. So yeah, that was a really cool play. That was a really cool play.
Who's your favorite Florida State player right now? Any sport?
Any sport? Well, my favorite player is probably, if I had to choose anybody right now,
This is his way of stalling.
Probably Cam Akers, because one time he started talking to me for a mini 3 seconds.
All right.
Oh, he talked to you? Yeah, he's a nice kid. He knew
I'll try.
him.
I'll see if I can get Cam maybe sign something that doesn't get in trouble. Who's your favorite baseball player in the world?
In the whole world,
Yeah.
it'd probably be Freddie Freeman or Ozzy Albies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was a Braves. We were trying to raise him up as a Brave.
Right. Have you been to an Atlanta United game yet?
No, I want to.
I think somebody out there gave you a shout-out, so they give you free tickets to Atlanta United game.
They offered it, but I wasn't in town.
Or if
so
you're
I
out there,
couldn't
still,
go.
if you still listen to the show, if you haven't gotten scared away by me ranting and raving for the last year and you're still part of the family, give us a shout-out. Let Corey know.
Let's
put a bow on it, Corey.
Let's
Wrap it up.
close with Brady's. I would have thought you would have said your favorite sports moment was the Villanova shot against North Carolina.
That could have been
Because that was like that was when he really wasn't into sports at all. He had just started getting around to it, and I brought him in for like the final. He was staying with me because it was spring break. I brought him in for like the final minute or 2 minutes. Like, Brady, you're putting the iPad down. We're watching the end of this game.
Yeah.
And then when Jenkins hit that shot, he jumped up like he had hit it. Yeah. Like it just something clicked with him because he brought up Kobe. He said one of his all-time. So I took him just because I knew I would be something cool to talk about later. Kobe's last game in Atlanta. I took him there. And literally he watched
Kobe's last game in Phillips. I mean, everybody remembers that.
Oh, my gosh. We all remember where we were. Yeah. Are you crazy? It's like Tiger's first Masters.
Right.
So he literally watched it. He must have been 7.5. He watched the first, 45 seconds, 2 minutes, and then just asked for my phone and got on my phone the rest of the time. And now that's one of your all-time favorite moments.
Yeah, but also a good moment is it was a Florida State basketball game. They might have been playing Charleston Southern, but you, Shane, Noah, and Micah sat next to Dennis Schroeder at a basketball game.
That was when they played VCU in Atlanta in Phillips Arena. I got tickets on the front row for like $20 each. And Dennis Schroeder came because he was friends with Malik Beasley. They were buddies, so he came to watch Beasley play.
And I sat right next to him. I didn't know who he was.
You got on TV.
I did. I get on TV everywhere.
You do. You just got a face for that.
There you go.
You're a magnet.
Brady, what's the best song out there right now? Because whatever you say, that's a song that we're going to use to start the show.
Sunflower by Post Malone.
Boom. There we go. He's Brady Clark. That's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening, folks.
What a wonderful show.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.